evening and welcome to the third episode of We've Got This, Let's Talk with Aunty Gale. This episode has been pre-recorded because this week the Parliament meets to discuss the budget, as you know, and therefore we had to have this episode pre-recorded. Let us also spare thought for our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We all know what's happening with the volcano. Many of us have experienced ash in our backyards and on our vehicles. Do adhere to the health protocols, especially now with this new variable, the ash fall. Face covering, masks, handkerchiefs, whatever it is you need to do. I also want to say to you what it means to us to have you join us. And this evening we're talking about the return to school, the reopening of school. Already the early childhood education centers have started to open their doors or reopen their doors to the little ones. We also have a delightful exchange with Miss Loretta Joseph from Monrepo, Grass Street. And you will get a peep at some of the fantastic work that our rural women producers do at the Aunty Agro-processing unit. Stay tuned. We've got so much in store for you. And thank you for joining me this evening.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said.
My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous toutes, c'est yon famille en Micoud Nord. And nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Aunty Gale.
So here we are again on the eve of the reopening of school. I know many of you are frustrated. It seems as if we've had so many false starts, so to speak, through no inherent fault of any agency, person, school, ministry. It is precisely a reflection of the fluidity of the situation of COVID-19. Notwithstanding our best efforts with respect to providing our students and teachers with the necessary hardware, technology to allow for our students to continue to enjoy and benefit from instruction, we recognize that still many of them are struggling to catch up, to keep up, and for them, given it's a new modality, it may not be the best means of engagement, and that is why we have insisted on a mixed modality, or what we call distributed learning, to ensure that we do not lose anybody. Effectively, we are to return to the classrooms next week already in the early childhood education sector. Some centers have started to receive their young ones, and I want to applaud the tremendous effort of the early childhood education unit. We have worked very closely with school administrators, preschools, daycare centers, nurseries to ensure that the protocols are in place and that our children and educators are safe. Let me say, with respect to Mico North in particular, we've been lucky to the extent that we've been able to accommodate one preschool that had to vacate its premises because of the new distance regulations or protocols, and to afford that preschool the use of the Poilin Community Center in the interim. Further, we have made donations of sanitizers, masks, other learning material, but very importantly, a small financial donation the second time around to allow for them to finance the necessary activities, undertakings, installation of sinks, for example, wash basins, so as to ensure that they do adhere to the protocol and afford our children a very safe environment. So last week we were able to make that financial donation thanks in part to the monies we received from the World Bank, implemented through the SSDF and the Office of the Parliamentary Representative. So I really do want to thank you for that and to say that we appreciate your patience, we appreciate your collaboration, your partnership, because together we can do this. And so we'll take a short break, during which time you will be treated to some delightful, grateful little ones who will say thank you for all that we've been able to do to ensure that we minimize the impact of COVID-19 on their education.
On behalf of the administrator of the Joyful Steps, the staff and the students, we would like to tell Dr. Gale Rigobert and her team a heartfelt thank you for the check donated to our school. It will go a very long way in helping our center. Thank you.
Okay, we the staff of College of Preschool, we want to thank the Honorable Dr. Gale Rigobert for this contribution. Oftentimes we're overlooked, the preschool sector, and we just want to thank her so much for this. It will go a long way. Thank you very much, Dr. Gale.
On behalf of Harmony Early Childhood Development Center, I would like to give a big thank you to Dr. Gale Rigobert for this generous contribution towards my center. I really appreciate it. It will go a long way. Thank you.
Okay, on behalf of the management, staff, and students of the Smith Jolly Tots Preschool in Monaco, we would like to express a hearty thank you to Honorable Dr. Gale T.C. Rigobert for this donation. It will definitely go a long way in this period, this pandemic, considering the preschools have been closed for a while, and this amount of this donation will definitely go towards purchase of supplies for the school, along with assisting us with payments for bills as well. So again, we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate you, we appreciate this, and we know that our students will also do the same. This preschool has been in existence for more than 50 years, and for the past 10 years, Dr. Rigobert has made it her duty to assist in whatever way possible. She assisted us with a few renovations prior to the reopening of school as a result of COVID, since we know that the restrictions it took a lot to basically put things in place to reopen as a result of the restrictions for COVID-19. She has been supportive of this preschool and education in general. Dr. Rigobert has been there, be it to provide means of advice or to assist in whatever way, shape or form for the development of the children and the Smith's Jolly Tots Preschool by extension. The school is owned and it was founded by Mary Joan Smith, also known as Teacher Joni, She's currently 81 years old and still very active in the daily operations of the school. She definitely makes it her duty as well to correspond with Dr. Rigobert as often as possible for advice on the way forward as it relates to events to better the preschool.
Thank you!
Hi everyone, I'm Amira Sere and I'm a student at the Agro-processing Combined School. I'm in grade 6 and my teacher is Miss Stanislas. My favorite subject would be math. I don't normally like it, but my teacher makes it finds a way to make it fun. I also love the positive quote she put up all over the walls. It reminds me to keep going. Also, the new wing is very impressive. The balcony is very large. So at break time, I can eat my snack and, go for a nice little walk. I also like the size of the classroom, so I'm not sticking on anybody because, 6 feet apart. Before, it was a rocky ride coming to school when I normally take the bus. But now, the drivers don't have any complaints now that the district rep fixed it. Before, it was like a rocky, stony road. The road, but now that they fixed it with some concrete and nice tools, it's a smooth ride. I may even fall asleep.
Thank you, Dr. Rigobert.
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that video with our little precious ones. You will appreciate that given what COVID-19 has come to mean, that we've had of necessity to engage many stakeholders. In fact, my colleagues know all too well my mantra has been and continues to be engage, 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 consult, 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 because we value the input of our stakeholders and we are well aware that the multiple input will help to fine-tune and crystallize whatever decisions that are taken within the ministry on behalf of our beautiful children. For that reason, therefore, I am compelled to thank the many stakeholders we engaged. Let me go in reverse order, so to speak. Most recently, we met with parents. Over 2,000 parents logged on to our meeting with ministry officials, and those discussions were open, frank, honest, and helped to clarify many of the issues that parents were anxious about, to correct some of the misinformation out there as well. So I really do want to thank my team at the Ministry of Education for hosting that meeting, and to thank the many parents who were logged on. We apologize to those who were not able to join because of the level of participation, even though we went up to 1,000 or more users at a time. I know that some of you would have loved to participate and you were not able to, but I trust that given that more than 2,000 parents were logged on, I'm sure the information has percolated through the society, and you all know what to expect when your children do return to the classroom. I also wish to thank the National Youth Council and National Students Council executive members with who we met as well a couple of days prior, and they too were able to make great representation on behalf of their respective constituencies, so to speak, on behalf of their respective groups of students and young people who they represent. So thank you so much for your participation. I must say that I'm very encouraged by the level of leadership in the various youth groups. And that is precisely what we mean when we say, take your place, own your place at the table. You must have skin in the game. It is your future. It is the future of this beautiful nation. And when you participate meaningfully, you can give shape, direction, and meaning to whatever course of action it is that we take within the ministry. So I really do thank you for that. I also wish to thank the National Principals Association, the St. Lucia Teachers Union, the district education officers who worked overtime ensuring that all is set for the reopening of school, and of course our little magicians, our little angels, the ancillary staff. Without you, we could not get it right. Thank you so much for your participation, for your engagement, for your hard work, and I want you to know that it has not gone unnoticed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We now take a short break and we'll get back to you soon.
Gale,
TC,
Rigobert,
my rep,
our rep,
your rep.
My rep is a working rep.
Yes, she is a working rep. Before the 5 years, my rep has delivered.
3 words to describe her:
Determined, thoughtful, goal-oriented.
We staying with Aunty Gale. Thank you, Aunty Gale. Merci, merci, Aunty Gale.
Thank you for staying with us, and I pray that you will enjoy what we have left for you on today's show. This week is a very important week, a very moving week for me. It is the week that I observe the anniversary of the passing of my mother, and always over the last few years for her anniversary, I think of what is it I can do in her memory, something that meant a lot to her. And I recall very fondly when she had passed and we had brought the body to St. Lucia, and I sat on the front step as we do in the village. You just sit on your front step and greet everyone who passes by, so to speak. And I derived so much strength and comfort from the number of women who had passed by and had indicated that yes, she had taught them, but that even after they would have left school, that they continued to confide in her, and she offered so much advice, encouragement. And I must say that that was a source of tremendous strength to me. It was also at that point that, notwithstanding that I've always wanted to enter politics, at that point I thought, Gale, you're lecturing at UWI, yes, and you touch the lives of hundreds of women and citizens of the Caribbean, even international students as well. But for the village, for the community, and what more can we do? And so I must say that at that moment, and during one of these conversations, which I recall so very clearly, seated there on the step by the road, like we would say, that I thought maybe the time is closer than I think for me to offer more of my time and talent to the community. And so when I speak of women, their resilience, the sacrifice they make, how, my favorite word, my team in Miko North knows that, how we make things multiplier, how we stretch things, how we stretch the dollar, how we stretch the ingredients, the groceries. It is from these experiences, talking to women such as these, and my own experience in my household with my mother, how do you make do with what you have, and how do you forecast, how do you envision the next step, the next stage? And I have adopted a group of women who, to my mind, every day demonstrate that resilience, tenacity, forward thinking, stickability, perseverance, just pressing on no matter what. That even before the agro-processing plant in Alger was ready for use, they congregated at the Pentecostal church in Miko and made their chocolates from the kitchen in the church. Thank you, Pastor Charles, for accommodating them. Thank you to Sister Carmen, Nurse Lynn Shallery, and the team, that even when all the ducks were not lined up and even when everything was not in place, you persevered, you pressed on, you continued with your art, you continued with your produce, you continued to do what you do best, and I want to thank you for that. And that is why you will see from the footage that we'll share with you shortly how delighted I was at the formal opening of the agro-processing plant in Alger. Largely because I know these women wanted this, needed this, and this was so critical to their economic advancement and, very importantly, economic empowerment. And so I have always enjoyed their produce myself, but I am always very proud and excited to share what they do with my guests, or when I do travel, to share them with my hosts as well. So the Miko chocolates, I swear, must be the most traveled chocolates in St. Lucia. I take them all over the place with me because it's just my little way of lending support to the women. We've had some further conversation about more equipment, and I can say to Lynn, following our meeting, and to Loretta Joseph as well, that things are in the making, and I know that we are very close to securing the additional equipment that you need to enhance the productivity of the agro-processing plant. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the contribution that you've made to our national economy, and thank you for being such great role models to our young ladies in our community. When we return, we will speak some more to what these young ladies do, and I trust that you'll enjoy the conversation I had with Loretta Joseph from Monopole Grass Street. And of course, you will be treated to a short tour of the agro-processing plant. Do stay with us.
I am Evelyn Augustine, president of the Mikut cluster. Under the Mikut cluster, we have a few members that have different products that they produce. This is just one person's product and the group product, which is the dark chocolate. We have members producing local ice cream. We have those into the chips, local chips. We have those processing the cassava into farine, into the starch cake. We have some members also doing the wines, local wines in different flavor, cactus, moringa, and a whole variety. We have those into, well, of course, into farming. We have a few into farming, and they process the produce from the farm also.
My name is Hannah Bowers-Lubin. I'm part of the Rural Women's Network. Today I am filtering some grape wine. I have just finished the first part of it, the filtration, and I'm put it back in the containers. So this is the grape wine, and I'm just bringing it back. By the space of 3 months, you should be able to bottle. But I take a little more time. I give it sometimes a year because I want it to get the aging process. The grapes, you're able to see it outside in the yard, in the area where we are. Everything is being planted right here, grown right here. Though we have been having little problems with the change of pattern in the weather, but we do what we can. Well, our customers are more people from the village or the entire public. We don't have a specific place. People in the area, in our village, they come to buy from us. They put their orders, and we have marketing mostly every Friday, whenever it's the time is.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here in your balcony with you, Mrs. Joseph. We go way back. And I've had the distinguished opportunity to taste many of your sweets. I haven't had your wine, I don't think. So maybe tonight is the night that I get to try some of your wine. But you were one of the first women in our community to begin your home-based agro-processing. You're known for your guava cheese, in particular, seaweed jam, or what we call gooseberries. And tell us where you started and how far you think you've come, and what more you think we can do together. Because I know, for example, you'd have benefited from various training workshops. So from the kitchen to the market to the shelves to great profitability.
From the garden.
From the garden,
yes. That's how it is.
So tell us, from the garden.
Well, I started as a young lady. My mother has 14 of us, 12 her life. I'm the first daughter. So I find the struggle was hard. So I started by doing, like, if we have a lot of plantain, I say, okay, today, you know what, we don't eat plantain alone. I do plantain salad, and I do different things with plantain, and we eat it differently. There was a day I remember, it was a birthday, and we had nothing to do a cake. I said, okay, you know what, we have endless bread nuts, we do a bread nut cake. So I did a bread nut cake. And I did my own recipe. That was just, it's like a gift God gave me to use my hands. So I did bread nut cake, and from then I did different recipe on my own. Then the dry fruit, I said there is too many things spoiling. I do fruit sickle from the fruit. I do popsicle. I do dry fruits with mangoes, mango jam, gooseberry jam, tangerine jam, cherry jam, different jam. Anything my hands come to do, I do it with it. And I said too many things spoiling, so I said, you know what? I will give myself a job.
I know that you've become so popular that your delights are so well known that sometimes you can't take as many orders as you're getting,
it's true.
Which is a good problem to have in business, which means you have to expand.
Yeah, because I do wholesale. And now I'm into the catering. If you want a little birthday party and whatever, I organize it.
So you do cater for parties and other events as well?
Yes.
Weddings?
Finger food, anything.
I remember the last time we met, it was in Lobai.
Yes.
You were just about to cater for a larger wedding. That's very good. What's the next step for you?
Well, my next step, my dream is to get my kitchen.
Well, the good news is that I met with the Taiwanese ambassador maybe about 6 weeks ago, and we were discussing some of the upgrading that we need to do at the Agro-processing plant, Agro-processing plant. And I would have had a conversation with Lynn Shallery as well, who you know is involved with the Rural Women's Network and makes, you know, bags, chocolates, etc. And she did mention some of the additional equipment that you require. I want to say with some degree of confidence, I think we're edging closer to getting some of those. So, you know, Rome was not built in a day, but at least we're edging closer to getting some of it.
With me, I will use Angel, but at the end of as I tell them, I need 9 because sometimes I have a urgent order. Someone call me in the middle of the night and say, "Doctor, you know what? Tomorrow morning we need X." I cannot go to Angel.
So you still need a home-based production plan.
Well, you have your own business where you can employ other young people in the community. So I want to have my own business.
Speaking of employing other people, so you still do all of this yourself?
My family and I. It's a family base. That's what it is.
Excellent.
My son
so your husband gets involved, your son gets involved.
My husband balls for me.
Oh!
Virgin is my son and my daughter. You know, everybody involved. You know?
That's
because my son started at the age of 5, they stay in the fridge.
Wow.
Very ill. This little one is staying in the rubber seat. And she's only what? She'll be 8.
So you are passing on the family tradition.
Yes, yes.
So it's really a family-based business.
Yes, a family-based business.
One of the things we have been endeavoring to do, and we have had some success because of COVID, and we know how COVID has affected small businesses, female entrepreneurs like yourself. Thanks to UN Women and the Canadian government, we're able to source some funding, not a lot, and we were able to undertake activities such as training in the legality of setting up a business, etc. So what I'm hoping that if we get a good cluster of women in our community who are interested, perhaps in the following phases we can have one in the community versus people having to go down to Castries. And I think we have enough people like you, although you were one of the first ones, but since then more people have picked up the trade, so to speak.
But it's very good to say. At one point in time I had about 7 women employed with me, especially when I go. You cannot stock enough because I tell my husband I want a container. That's what I need, because for that you imagine I will buy more than $2,000 worth coming, and our free time is not enough. I plant tamarind, I plant gooseberry, everything of the bag.
From the farm to the supermarket, to the banquet.
From the farm to the kitchen, and then the supermarket.
Awesome. So Loretta, tell us some more about what we have here today, and I'll tell you what my thought processes are thereafter. So you have some dried fruit, am I seeing correctly here?
Yes, I have 5 finger, I have love apple, and I have some gooseberry, I have some Quaker Oats cookies, I have some candy sticks, I have tamarind balls, tamarind jam.
And you said your husband made the tamarind balls?
Yeah, I mixed the tamarind ball, my husband rolled the tamarind balls.
Okay, so you have the secret recipe, not him?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and the wine, this is locally produced wine, isn't it? This one is
soury.
Soury. I've never had that.
It's very sour, but then when you do it, it's very nice. It's
really?
not sour.
Now I need to try this because I don't think I've ever had that. Yes. And I don't think I'm alone. So I learned something new this evening.
Gooseberry.
Well, gooseberry I know because I remember my neighbor Miss Gale had a huge gooseberry tree in her yard, and I tell you, we used to eat that till our cheeks cut on the inside.
So this one is the love apple.
Love apple? So what does this promise to do for you?
Well, keeping love.
I need a full dose of this. This is a love apple wine. I'm going home with this one this evening. And you heard it from Loretta yourself. If you have this, it's going to keep you in love. Now, I trust that by the time the public sees this, you will be running out of love apple wine. This is fantastic stuff. And of course, we know you love your cactus plants and you do your gardening as well. Where do you normally sell your oat cookies, for example?
Well, normally I sell my cookies to parents for the children. I tell them not to buy this junk food. Some of them cannot cannot afford what I do, I have them to give me the flour and whatever, and I help the community by giving them.
I remember we had that conversation sometimes, well, not last year went by so quickly. I think it was the year before we had that conversation in terms of how it is we can encourage parents to use more locally produced snacks, juices for their children. Do you think you're making some headway with that?
Well, yes, because now I have more persons buying the snack for the children. Those who cannot afford what I do, I make exchange. Like there's a parent that gave me CMOS, and then I do the cookies and I give her the cookies for the children.
Oh, excellent. So it's barter. Back to basics.
Yeah, that's no good stuff.
That's how we used to do it. You bring your poago, and then you get the pat banan or chocochon, chovian, or chocochon sale, or chovian sale. That's how we do it. I am really happy to see what you have here. So I understand you'd like to see some more equipment at the Aunty Agro-processing plant. I have already initiated that conversation. Like I said, I had a similar exchange with Lynn about that. I'm still thinking, though, I want to help you. But so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a donation of $5,000 towards the start of your kitchen.
Yes,
and what I will do is to have one of the technicians come over and take some measurements, and maybe you can begin to have a conversation with your credit union and see if it is we at least come up with a certain percentage of it, whether they would give you a small loan to that kitchen, because I think this is very, very promising.
Yeah, and the other thing.
So I'm really moved by this. I'm just so happy to be in your home, and thank you for welcoming me and my team. And I want the world to know that you've been doing this for at least 20 years now.
A long time. All my children grow on it, go to school on it. Up to now, you pay the bills, you do everything. It's a home-based business.
And I'm hoping that after this show, more people will come to know of what it is that you do, and will be inclined to do business with you as well. I'm encouraged that the training you've received thus far has seen you grow from strength to strength, and that what we have in the pipelines in terms of training entrepreneurial women, that you will benefit from some further training and the startup cash of $5,000 to give you that jump start for your kitchen. Because we are going to have a conversation with Mr. Vernon Manuel, who is the head of the Bureau of Standards. I'm going to invite Mr. Ragunanan as well, who is the head of public health in the Ministry of Health. And we're going to have a conversation as to what we can do to get you started. Why I'm inclined to help you is because, one, you've been doing this for a long time. I know you have a lot of sweat capital already invested in this.
And you can never have.
That's when things are really good with you. You also employ other people.
Yes.
Sometimes between 5 and 7 young women get to work with you, which is great. You also are able to offer an opportunity to people with certain fruit trees, and when those fruits are maybe out of season or there's low productivity, but you buy from them. That's when you yourself cannot meet your quantum, that you're able to buy from them, which is great business.
I normally buy, even though I can reach the quota and they have it spoiling, I will buy and stock.
Yes, because you know how to do the pulping
and I employ them, and you know what, pick everything. Some of them clean it for me, I pay them, and then I just take it home to the freezer.
Yes.
But I need a container, maybe 20-feet container, so I can have enough, because of COVID, I have tumbling. But if it was not for COVID, I have no tumbling. I can have the amount of tumbling I have to run out. So I need a container when guava, tumbling, gooseberry in season, I can just...
So you will retrofit that container for storage purposes, so you can have your freezers in there?
Yes.
And so that you can have your... Oh, so you can have your fruits throughout the year.
That's right.
I really want to say to the parents that school is about to reopen in another couple of weeks, and Loretta has already demonstrated that her partnership with parents is proven to be very meaningful, that there's equal exchange, healthy barter between herself and some of the parents, that we have just passed a school feeding policy, and sometime in 2019 as well, we had a no artificial sugars in school policy, to put it simply, because we wanted to promote, one, healthy eating in school, two, to ensure that we use more of our local produce. And in fact, we have been working more closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and the FAO to ensure that we can match people garden to kitchen to the market to the school. And oh, you did, you have benefited from one of those courses.
The school feeding program, the preschooler, I did that course.
Brilliant. And so here we are. We have. Can I just pick up one of your?
No problem.
Okay, let's do this.
Sorry.
All protocols observed. So if you notice, an authentic,
Quaker oats cookies.
Very well done, and literally, the proof is in the. Crunchy, right texture, not too hard, so the little teeth.
Not too sweet.
Certainly not too sweet, just right.
That is sort of sugar.
This is very tasty. Oh my god. If I want this for my 6-year-old in infant school or primary school,
any category you can eat it. Diabetes, any category.
Oh really? This is good to know.
Yes,
so it's
because I do it, it don't have much sugar. Sometimes I don't put sugar, I put fruits. So you can eat it.
So it derives its sweetness
No,
from the local
like
fruits.
the local fruits, yes.
Not artificial sugar.
No.
Not brown sugar, not white sugar, no kind of sugar.
Just eat straight with the fruits.
This tastes really good. And I suspect it's fat free as well.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Let's go. So, I'm happy to hear that there are other people in your family who are learning the trade. Do you think that they will continue on?
Everybody work. When school open, everybody, I give them their pocket change, and everybody goes to cash to purchase their books. They work, then we go and purchase our book, and they buy whatever they want to eat because they work hard, so I give them their pay them. It's wise to pay their children, but if you don't pay them, they don't feel like working. So you give an incentive to them. You open their bank account for them, you see them.
Oh wow. Let's try the wine. The way you promoted it, I think I'll be in very good standing. I have the pleasure of pouring for you, honey. So hold on to the glass.
It's for you.
So that's for me?
Yes, that's for you.
Oh, wow.
Enjoy it. That's a long-term glass. I have the old people in the community to give me one thing. That's, I tell everybody bring something unique, antique. So that's a glass over 50 years.
So let me hold that way.
So it's a long time. My plan is to put the person's initial on it and put in my cabinet.
Wow.
So my home will be like a museum.
So Loretta, to you, 20 years in the business, you're one of the first women, and I've seen you grow from strength to strength. I've seen you expand your business. I'm always so encouraged when I see your products in other spaces. So I just want you to know how proud I am of you, and that we will continue to work together. So cheers to that. To the Heavenly Father up above who's giving you that gift. It is not everybody who can do this. So, but this is really smooth. Oh.
I don't put noise. It's just the sugar on the fruit. Instead I ferment it and I take out the fruit, do the dry fruit.
So
that's it.
That's the love apple.
Yeah, that's the love apple.
You have a lot of that?
Yes, well, I have, mine is not there yet, but my sister has a farm, so what we do
You harvest?
Yes, I harvest.
So, to 30 years of marriage, to a happy, prosperous family, to the partnership.
Because best friend married best friend.
Oh, really?
We're best of friends.
So I must first find the best friend.
Yeah, we're best of business.
And then you married that person.
Yeah, that person goes in and out.
And then out.
And you know the person also.
So that's how that works.
Yeah, that's the way men work.
Oh.
Because like a surprise. It's like you, best friend of somebody, you're talking, tell the person all your business, you checking you, and you check, you know what I heard. You tell the person at the end of that, you're going to say, you know what, I want to do in my life.
Wow, now that you make that sound very, very easy and very simple. And I'm sure you have that wisdom in part stemming from this love apple. So I'll drink some more. Hopefully I can acquire the wisdom.
Well, pray and God will give you the right one.
Good. Best friend, did you hear that? So we're best friends. I tell you all my business. You tell me all your business, and one day you say, will you marry me? Oh dear, there's hope in the universe. Loretta, is there anything that you'd like to say to women who are watching the show and who want to get started, who have a skill, and maybe they're shy, maybe they're wondering, will they make a lot of money? You know, many entrepreneurs worry about getting off the mark. How do you get started?
There are a lot of money that will not be in my head. All my aim was to help people. That was my aim. People that are poorer than me, teach them a trade. Because many people here, I teach them a trade. Many children go to school, they sell things for me, and I had them to open a bank account. Yeah, many of them. And then I tell them, you know what, do a little chores and do this, and I pay them, and I tell them, you know, I talk to the parents, and tell them, this money is going to the account. Open an account for the children. Even parents too. I let them come along to do them. Some of them my children do Rigobert. My neighbor have been doing it. Charlotte, then Rigobert is for me. And she's trying that she'll come and do it. And I tell her. There's many ways where it's not me, it's all about helping. When I go to exhibition with the women, what I do, my highest price is $250. So I sell for the poor, and the rich enjoy it because the rich can buy more. So what I do, I keep it $250. Candy stick packet $1.50 to $2. Cookies, whatever I have, I put. This is $1.50. The apple is $2.
And that's the gooseberry jam.
That's the tamarind jam.
Oh, tamarind jam.
That's the tamarind
I thought you were holding that there.
Yes, tamarind jam.
I'm salivating already. Wait.
Tamarind jam. You don't put the thing high. What you do, aim at the pork. I never forget where I come from. I have the cane, I can plant a lot of cane. I chop it small and I package it. $2 a basket. You do golden apple in sauce. Many parents can take it and do golden apple in sauce. I love it.
And you have to make a little hole in the bottom and something.
Yes, golden apple in sauce. Then you package it and then you go overnight you make $1. You know? I'm proud to do my $1. You know? Yeah.
I have found a lovely lady. I had a conversation with her in Soufriere last weekend, who would love to meet someone like you so we can document your recipes and showcase your 20 years of experience. And I will be making the same offer to some of the other ladies who've been doing this like you, so we can celebrate our women. Young female entrepreneurs who've been at this, who've raised their families, like you said, on this. And so I want for us, by the end of this year, perhaps for Christmas, by then we will have that publication showcasing that which you do and that fantastic, fascinating story of yours.
And our young people need to grab it.
Yes.
And let the legacy continue.
Wow, thank you so much. The Love Apple wine, I think, is starting to work. And the tamarind jam is just so delicious. It's so nostalgic. Just, you know, running my fingers along the brim and the cover. That's how we did it in school, so we could stretch it. Because everybody has to take a little scoop with the index finger. Thank you very much. We did not say what was in here, so very quickly, which one is this?
Gooseberry.
Gooseberry wine.
Soury.
And this is the, oh yes, we did talk about the soury. It was the gooseberry wine that we had missed in between. So, thank you. Here you have it, Loretta, 20 years of doing her own thing in her kitchen, in her neck of the woods, right here on Grass Street in Monipo, in the beautiful constituency of Nico North. I trust that you enjoyed the video with Loretta Joseph out of Monipo. Loretta, I'm still looking for the best friend, but I want to attest to the fact that I think the Love Apple wine is already working. I'll keep you posted, who knows. So Loretta, I've known for the past 20 years, as you heard in that video, and I have committed to helping her some more because I'm so impressed by what she does, and I know that she can benefit from additional support. So Loretta, I am committed to helping, as I did say. And similarly, Lynn Augustine, do know that I have taken your list of needs to another level, and so I trust that in the next couple months you will see some activity that you'll be most delighted to have happen at the Angers Agro-processing plant. Isam nou ja fini, but he said, Tinelita sa ale bien vite, oui, but I was just beginning to have some fun. But I want to acknowledge the Rural Women's Network. We've worked very closely with them. And Loretta Joseph, thank you for welcoming us into your home. I really had a great time. Let me say to the parents, especially given that school is reopening, Loretta has very healthy snacks. Healthy oatmeal cookies, healthy carrot sticks. Can you imagine having vegetables, not even realizing you're having a healthy vegetable snack? We had cabbage, carrots, we had star apple, I think it was. She did some of these as dried fruit, and guava cheese, gooseberry jam, you name it. Very importantly, she's willing to partner with parents. Whatever you can afford, she will put together a lovely package for your child so that we can continue to promote healthy eating in school, and to note that much of what she does is organic as well. And so we need not fear for the health of our children. One, two, it means that we keep our young entrepreneurs engaged and keep the business thriving, and also that in some of those businesses we do create employment for other young women as well. So this is win, 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 win. Whichever way you look at it, we all win. Thank you for joining us this evening, and I look forward to being with you again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And this time, because it will be a live show, we'll be more than happy to receive your comments and questions. So next Tuesday, 8 p.m., please join me for We've Got This, Let's Talk with Aunty Gale. See you then.
My MP said that we would have a new wellness center. Here we are. It's almost finished.
My community said we needed a new wing to our secondary school. And my MP said yes.
My sister said she needed help to find a job, so my MP created a job fair.
Our athlete said we needed better sporting facilities.
A new early childhood development center.
My neighbors said.
My sister said.
The children said.
Community said.
Roads and a new park. And my MP said.
Yes.
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 Of course.
Nous toutes, c'est yon famille en Micoud Nord. Et nous continuons pour faire progrès avec Aunty Gale.
Hey, my name is Wayne Jamari. I would like to thank my district rep, Gale Rigobert, for the assistance she provided me during my time at Southwark Community College. Because of her assistance, I was able to complete my associate's degree in agriculture.
Saying thanks is something we've got to say. Something we're inspired to say. To someone who has assisted in shaping our education and skills in any way, form or fashion. It is the least I can say. To you, Honorable Dr. Gale Rigobert, you have helped me further my education at the University of the West Indies, where I studied health and safety. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. To you, Honorable Dr. Rigobert, I say a big thank you. I did my best.
On behalf of the Micoud veterans, I would like to extend much heartful appreciation to our district rep, Honorable Dr. Gale Rigobert, for a wonderful contribution this morning after such an intense session, training activity among the Micoud veterans. We were treated kindly with a very appetizing breakfast, and we look forward to our continuous relationship with the district rep. We know that she is very committed to her task, and she is going to continue supporting the Micoud veterans, and we want to assure her that the Micoud veterans will give her the fullest support as we continue to progress for success. Thank you very much.
According to the Chinese proverb, if you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. With this being said, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the Honorable Dr. Gale Rigobert for providing me the opportunity to further my education at the University of the West Indies. Never in my lifetime I thought I would be able to say that I am a student at the University of the West Indies, but because of her, I was able to further my studies in supervisory management. Presently, I am doing the advanced part, supervisory management, psychology aspect of it. Dr. Rigobert, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This will go a long way to myself and the people of my community. I thank you.